Welcome to Startup Sluts, where we keep it real. No sugar-coated stories, just the raw deal. We're Mary and Ksenia, here to spill the guts on how we messed up and learned from our ruts.
Hello and welcome, our inspiring disasterpreneurs, to podcast Startup Sluts, how to fuck up your startup. My name is Ksenia, and together with my co-founder Mary, we are here to share with you our honest story about our startup journey and how we screw out. The topic of today's episode is how we flushed our savings down the toilet, a bootstrapper's guide to financial fuck-ups. Today we are diving into the most painful topic for any bootstrap startup: money. Or more accurately, how to watch your hard-earned cash vanish faster than your social life. Buckle up, because this ride is about to get bumpy and expensive. We'll show you how we managed to bump through our savings account with nothing but optimism and terrible planning. But before we dive into the financial fiasco, don't forget to follow us on YouTube and Instagram. Drop a comment below and tell us about your biggest money mistake. Misery loves companies after all. Also leave us your thumbs up. For you, it costs nothing, but for us, it means the world. And now let's talk about the elephant in the room, the financial plan. You know, that thing we should have had, but we didn't. And trust us, it's kind of important. Today's episode is a two-part. First, I'll show you how to spectacularly fail without a financial plan. Then Mary shows us how to actually do the right way. Because sometimes you're got to learn from your mistakes. Or in our case, we broadcast them to the entire internet. So grab your calculators or cocktails. We won't judge you, and let's dive into the wild world of startups' finances. Because trust us, it's a roller coaster you didn't know you really need to ride. And I'll start, generally speaking, the whole story with financial plan started when we had the brilliant idea to host an event to our potential users. You know, we want to show everyone how professional and put together we are. We wanted to win new users too. And first mistake we did, we hired an organizational specialist. Fancy title for someone who organized our money right out of our pockets. But here is the kicker. We were still elbow deep in the planning ourselves. We pay someone to do a job, but we did everything or a lot by ourselves. We were so involved in any teeny detail that we completely lost the sight of the big picture. And by big picture, we mean the gaping hole in our bank account. Paying for flowers, for drinks, snacks, and so on and so on, we realized something important. We had no idea how much money we actually had. It was like planning financial Jenga, pulling out expenses and hoping the whole thing wouldn't come crashing down. The problem was also that while we were running around like headless chickens preparing for this event, we were also trying in parallel, actually to run our startups. And we were so exhausted, to be honest, and so drained that we couldn't barely remember why we thought this event was a good idea in the first place. And then, in a moment of clarity, we looked at each other and said, what the hell we are doing? And the funniest part, after all the money we spent, all the time we wasted, all the sleepless nights, we have cancelled the event. And this whole fiasco could have been avoided with one extremely simple tool: a clear financial plan. If we had taken the time to crunch the numbers and create a proper budget, we could have seen in black and white that we couldn't afford that event. More importantly, we would have realized that it wasn't aligned with our core business objectives. And just some hard facts and cold numbers. There are a lot of scientific researchers about the role of financial plan in startup journey. For example, the Small Business Administration reports that only about half of all businesses survive 5 years or more. Many of these failures can be attributed to poor financial management. Another survey by Clutch found that 30% of small businesses without a formal business plan failed within 2 years. And according to KfW, it's Germany's leading development banks, they have found out that about 30% of German startups fail within the first 3 years. While this study doesn't specifically link failure rates to financial planning, experts widely agree that financial management is crucial for startup success. A good financial plan is extremely important, and it does more than just track your expenses. It forces you to set very clear and extremely measurable goals. It helps you to prioritize your spending. It also allows you to anticipate and prepare for financial challenges in the future. It provides you a clear roadmap for growth. Last but not least, it gives you a reality check when you're about to do something extremely stupid like we did, organizing offline event for online solution.
Startup lingo. A financial plan is a comprehensive overview of a business's current financial state and future financial goals, along with strategies to achieve those goals. It's essentially a roadmap for your company's financial future.
Let's dive into the wild world of financial plans. Before we jump into financial planning, just a little note. When I mention software, I really mean software as a solution. Software as a
solution. SaaS.
Before we jump into financial planning, just a quick note. When I mention software, I really mean software as a solution, so SaaS. Service, need solution, service. Before we jump into the financial planning, just a quick note. When I say software, I really mean software as a solution.
As a service. Software as a service.
SaaS, I'm gonna just say SaaS. Before we jump into financial planning, just a quick note. When I mention software, I really mean software as a service, so SaaS. Just keep that in mind. We're about to turn burning numbers into an adventure. Our startup nearly crashed and burned because we ignored one crucial metric: customer acquisition costs.
Startup lingo. Customer acquisition cost, or CAC, measures how much an organization spends to acquire new customers. CAC, an important business metric, is the total cost of sales and marketing efforts, as well as property or equipment needed to convince a customer to buy a product or service.
We're totally lost, pushing this confusing math aside because we were not selling anything yet. Big mistake. The result? A financial plan so detached from the reality, it might have as well been a fairy tale. So don't make our rookie mistake. We're going to break it down step by step so you can avoid the massive headache we went through. This could save your business from going up in flames. It does not just reveal how much you are shelling out for each new customer. It's the secret sauce that helps you choose between B2B and B2C, shaping every move you will make. So, let's dive deep into the numbers. First, we need to determine cost per install. We're playing detectives here. We'll snoop around market research and spy on similar app campaigns to guess how much cash we'll burn to get one lonely soul to hit that install button. Once you are live, you will know the real numbers and real damage. Every marketing dollar spent to get that one person to install. You should guess anything between 1 and 3 euros, but do not be too optimistic. Stay something between 2 and 3. Now we need to calculate conversion rate from install to registration. Bad news, not everyone who installs and downloads your app will register for it. So important question is, how many of your new installers will make it to the finish line and actually register? Spoiler alert, our crystal ball, aka our market research, says something between 80% will cross that finish line. Now we're diving deep into real calculations. So we need to understand and calculate the registration costs. So we need to divide the estimated cost per install by the predicted conversion rate to get the cost per registration. In this example, we took 3 euros, so we divide 3 euros by 0.80, which equals to 3.75. This means you expect it to cost 3.75 euros to get one registration. Let's calculate conversion rate from freemium to paid now. If you're offering freemium model, which most apps do, you need to determine what percentage of your registered users decide to upgrade from the free version to a paid version of your app. Look at trends from similar freemium apps or use survey data to predict the percentage of registered users who might upgrade from the free to paid versions. Let's say something between 30% or 40% of our survey participants were ready to pay for our app. So conversion rate will be 30%. Now we're calculating acquisition costs. Divide the cost per registration by the percentage of users who upgrade to the paid version. This gives you the cost to acquire a paid user, which we all want. For example, 3.75 divided by 0.30 equals to 12.50 euro. So you expect it to cost 12.50 euro to get one paid user. Not a lot, isn't it? It is. Calculate monthly and annually conversion rates. Find out the percentage of your users who upgrade to a paid monthly subscription and those who upgrade to a paid annual subscription. They will cost you differently. And this helps you understand the distribution of your paid customers. Use market research or a user survey to estimate the percentages of users who might choose monthly or annually paid plans. People tend to more staying with monthly subscription, so take that into consideration. Now, let's calculate monthly and annually acquisition costs. So divide the estimated acquisition cost by the percentage of the conversion rates. In our case, in this example, for the monthly plan, we divide 12.50 euro by 2.23 because we decided that from our 30%, 23% more tend to go to monthly subscription. So at the end, it comes to 15.16 euros. For the annual plan, 12.50 euro will be divided by 0.0, which equals to a high number of 41.25. So once again, you understand how important it is to calculate this as early as possible. Now, we calculated how much it will cost to get one person to download, register, and then upgrade to paid. Now we need to understand how long will this person stay with us.
Startup lingo. Customer lifetime value, CLV, is the total revenue a business can expect from a single customer account throughout the entire business relationship. It considers the customer's revenue value, the duration of the relationship, and the costs associated with acquiring and serving the customer.
This helps in predicting long-term revenue from each customer. We're tracking how long our digital wildlife, aka customers, stick around and pay for our app ecosystem. Aiming for a 6 between 8 months lifespan is like finding the sweet spot in a game of darts. Now we have all the data we need to come to the important and interesting part and set the subscription pricing. We're not just pulling numbers out of a hat, we're picking at our competitors' We are listening to what our potential users are telling us. So in this case, let's stay with $11.99 for this example, which is a sweet spot for a lot of users. Now comes the part you cannot control, which is the store fees. So calculate the percentage of your revenue that goes to an app store or platforms where your app is sold. Deduct this from your revenue to find out how much you actually earn. And a tip, you always take 15%. That is basically what the apps take from each customer. Now we have all the data, what money they are taking from us, what money are we getting, so we can calculate net revenue per annual subscriber. So now we need to subtract the store fees from our annual revenue to get the next revenue. This is actual amount of money you make from each subscriber a year after the fees. Now comes another cost, because we are a technical solution, we are a software. So we have technical costs, we need to identify them. So determine the monthly costs associated with providing your service, such as server costs, maintenance, and support. This also comes into financial plan costs hypothesis. So base your calculations here on your hypothesis there. So let's say we calculated our costs, and for this example, we can stay with €8 per user. We need to calculate now the initial gross profit. So we subtract the technical costs from the net revenue. This gives us the gross profit before considering customer acquisition costs. And we are getting to the final points. We have done a lot of work to calculate customer acquisition, and we've done a lot of work to calculate the gross profit. So we take that and we minus the calculations of customer acquisition cost, and we are left with the real number we can get from each customer. In the last step, folks, we're calculating our profit margin percentage. It's like grading our financial performance on a scale of 0 to 100. And here you have it, the startup superheroes. We've conquered the customer acquisition calculation climb, scaled the summit of subscription pricing, and emerged victorious. Who said finance could not be an extreme sport? Our template is your new best friend here. It will help you nail those customer acquisition calculations and profit and loss predictions. As a note, churn rates play a huge role in calculating profit. So this requires the market research, but assuming numbers between 5 and 8% is a safe bet. Remember, we've tailored this to our B2C subscription software, but it's flexible enough to fit your unique needs. Don't skip the hypothesis section. It's where your market research comes into play and sets the stage for your financial planning. So, got questions? Or are you feeling overwhelmed? Or maybe you are just pumped to dive in? Just drop us a comment, and we're all in this startup journey together. And maybe your next big breakthrough might be just a calculation away.
Startup lingo. Unit economics refers to the financial metrics that measure the profitability and viability of a single unit of a product or service, such as a subscription, user account, API call, data processing task, or service tier. It focuses on the direct revenues and costs associated with one unit to assess the overall efficiency, sustainability, and potential scalability of a business model.
For a very insightful part, it's really hard. Mary did all financial plan by herself. I admired her because it was really a struggle.
No, I remember we were like looking lost at it, and then I understand it's hard, but it gets easier.
Yeah, so thank you very much for your time. And like a sum up, as you can see, based on Mary's part of the episode, you should understand that financial plan always goes together with the market research, because at the moment you have decided, okay, I want to create a product. The next step is to do a marketing research to understand actually users, do they need this product or not? And then based on this marketing research, your own, or maybe you have access to already existing data. It's just like everything is the internet.
You get everything.
You create this business plan. And what would go better in our case if we would have our business plan on time? I think first and foremost, we would understand that we didn't have the budget for this event, for example, offline event.
For sure, and that the time we spent investing in this event was much better spent in a lot of other things, like,
for example, online marketing is more reliable actually, because every time I'm thinking about this decision, creating, developing this offline, I'm thinking about this event, I'm thinking like, okay, actually we are online solution, we are digital solution, and this idea to create actually I feel me like in New York. So much police around. I feel like it was not the best solution, because digital solution, it means that digital marketing is our priority number one, and offline maybe someday, sometime when we have enough money, enough budget.
Enough budget, and when we have built, like, we're more into building the community around it and everything. But it comes again to also why we highlighted the customer acquisition cost here, because we had some basic financial planning. We kind of had how much we will need and like very basic calculations. But in this case, we would have understood that if your customer acquisition are higher than what that customer will bring you, then you are meant for failure.
I think it is the main reason and the main indicator that would highlight us the problematic of the idea to create this event. So rate our backup from 0.
From 0 to 10.
To 10. I would say it's pretty high.
I can go higher than the last time.
9.
I like for sure 9. 9.5.
I agree with you. So I think for today we are done, and I hope you enjoyed our episode and it was helpful for you, and we are very looking to read your comments, to enjoy your thumbs ups.
And if because we are sharing all our templates with you, if there is something you would like to have more in depth, because the financial plan is like a lot of different parts there, if you would have something else you want to go like step by step, just let us know. We'll be happy to share our experience and our how we did it.
Thank you very much for your time, and see you the next time. Your startup starts.
Bye.